This bar chart illustrates a stark reality in public health. Latina teens report some of the highest suicide attempt rates in the country, and low-income Latina mothers face nearly double the risk for postpartum depression compared to the national average. A major driver behind these numbers is a culture rate of stress. This is the daily psychological pressure of having to navigate and balance two completely different cultural worlds at the exact same time. When you add contextual stressors, specifically poverty and systemic discrimination, to that cultural tightrope walk, the psychological toll accelerates. Traditional psychological models often fall short here. Addressing anxiety or depression without accounting for these specific cultural pressures misses the environment that produces the distress in the first place. This external cultural stress frequently enters the home through a psychological process known as parentification. This occurs when children are forced by circumstance to assume excessive adult-like responsibilities. Out of necessity, these youths step in to manage complex adult tasks. They often act as language brokers, translating sensitive medical documents or managing financial matters for their parents. This role reversal carries direct emotional consequences. Replacing a normal childhood with these heavy cognitive loads is a common predictor for anxiety, depression, and profound feelings of shame. The structural demands of navigating a new country mean the home, which should be a sanctuary, can instead become a source of emotional distress for the youth living there. Given these unique stressors, how do so many Latina youth demonstrate extraordinary resilience and thrive? The answer often lies in familismo. This is a cultural value system that prioritizes family loyalty, unity, and shared responsibility over individual needs. This flow logic diagram shows how that value system alters psychological outcomes. When parentification is routed through the filter of familismo, the resulting damage drops significantly. The heavy burden is reframed from a source of isolation into an act of teamwork. This cultural lens acts as a protective shield. It allows youth to interpret high-stakes responsibilities as a source of self-esteem and family belonging rather than a simple emotional drain. This dynamic is especially critical for Mexican-origin adolescent mothers who face heightened vulnerability to enculturative stress during their postpartum stages. Longitudinal research reveals that maternal warmth, the direct, supportive involvement of the adolescent's own mother, acts as a primary buffer against postpartum depression. The data indicates that for adolescent mothers, this generational support is a vital component of successful postpartum recovery. However, this area chart reveals a severe systemic failure. Despite strong internal cultural buffers, language barriers, and a lack of bilingual providers mean Hispanic adults are 28% less likely to receive necessary mental health care than the national average. Closing this gap means community outreach must bypass clinical settings. This includes embedding bilingual counselors into familiar spaces, like hosting family mental health workshops during school PTA meetings. It also requires leaning on promotores, or community health workers. As trusted peers, they provide crucial psychoeducation and form a bridge between hesitant families and the medical system. True healthcare equity requires the medical system to adopt the community's cultural language, rather than forcing the community to navigate a foreign clinical system. If you or someone you know needs support, help is available right now. Call or text the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, which is available in Spanish. You can also text the word ayuda to 741-741 or call the SAMHSA National Helpline at 1-800-662-HELP and press 2. Leveraging these professional resources is an expression of familismo. By supporting your own mental health, you are actively protecting the long-term stability of the entire family. This has been Wisdom for Your Day. Subscribe, like, follow, and share.